just continue along the way. Hey everyone, how's it going? Let me just grab the link and then we'll go live here. Well, we're already live, I guess, but all right. Okay, so here we are. We're dwelling on cliffs again. We're now at 48K. Okay, this is the same area we bounced off of April 23rd. So maybe we'll keep an eye out on this area. We did come below it yesterday, but this might be an area to keep an eye out for. So this is what we're going to do a live stream. We're sort of dwelling on the cliff here, right? We're dwelling on the cliff, and we're going to see if it holds or not. And also note that we are in fact we should now be between the 20-week SMA now and the 21-week EMA, which is generally what people use. So let's go to the weekly. This is on Coinbase, and we're gonna pull up our bull market support band. Okay, so this is the band that we held as support back in August, September, and October. This is the band that we held as support. The main question I think we have to, that will be asked, okay, the main question that I think will be asked during this test of the bull market support band at around, it ranges from 46,571, like 46,570 up to 48,627. Depends on the exchange you use, of course, but it ranges, let's say, between 46.5 and 48.6. So 46.5 and 48.6. This would encompass more or less the bull market support band, which is this one. And the reason why it's important to watch is because, again, last cycle this is where we tried to hold it, right? Not there. This is where we tried to hold it, in this region, and in this region, and here, and here, and here, and this one. And so that's the reason why we watch it. Now, the main question, I think, that has to be asked is not the importance of it. It's just, are we too far gone? That's the only question. Because, if we had, and I'm not saying one way or another whether we are or not, if we had tested it, like if Bitcoin had tested it over here, I would have been more optimistic about it holding it. And I would still contend there's a decent probability that it holds it. It's just the question is, are we too far gone to hold it? Meaning we've gone up so much since the last time we tested it, can we actually hold it? And the only reason we ask that question is, again, because we've drawn a lot of similarities between this cycle and 2 cycles ago where we didn't hold it in the middle of the cycle. Okay, so in the middle of the cycle, we actually fell below it in 2013, right here. Okay, so I think that's the main question that has to be asked is, are we too far gone, or are we not, and it's going to hold just like it did last cycle, and we'll continue to hold it as support, and eventually we'll bounce off of it and go to new all-time highs. Okay, those are the 2 questions that have to be asked, and you have to figure out, do you think it's going to hold the line or not? And we're clearly testing it now. And remember, back in August, September, and October when we tested it, this was our first test of the 20-week this cycle, we held it as support. And when we crossed this point here, we said, all right, guys, at some point, we're going to have to come back down and test it as support to kick off the bull market. And we, in fact, did do that. We, in fact, did come back down and test it as support to kick off the bull market. So now we're testing it. Okay, we're finally testing it. And again, the question becomes, all right, are we going to hold it? Now remember, the 20 week is, and we basically speculated that we were going to test it relatively soon because we got the cross here of the 20 week SMA and the 21 week EMA. So we did in fact cross it as history implied, or sorry, the cross here of the 20 week SMA and the 21 week EMA did imply a cross of the, at least it implied a test of the 20 week SMA in the not so distant future. And you can see that we got it 3 weeks later. Okay, so 3 weeks later, we got it actually fairly similar to this one. Back in 2019, we've drawn some comparisons between, 2019 and here. So look at this one. The cross came here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We tested it 4 weeks later. We tested it 4 weeks later, and the 5th week, we actually fell below it. But again, it's actually pretty similar that we had the cross, and then we tested the 20-week moving average not that many weeks after the cross of the 20-week estimate and the 21-week EMA. So now the question becomes, the two main questions, right? Are we going to hold it as support like 2016, 2017, okay? And this will just sort of be one test in the journey, and it'll do something like that, right? Will this be just a test, and then we'll immediately bounce off of it? Or is the implication that we're too far gone and we'll fall below it? Okay, that's the implication. And basically, the idea of doing something like, if we do something similar to 2019, like if we do something like that. That's the question we have to ask ourselves, and you have to figure out, sort of what side do you lean on. Remember, the test of the 20 week is normally not solved in a day. Okay, even if we go below it, I mean, and we've been below the 20 week. We're actually we're slightly above it right now. We were below it a few minutes ago. Wicks don't really matter. I mean, if we go, we could go to 43K today, and then if we're back above it by the end of the week, then it was still just a wick. Okay, so wicks don't really matter. A lot of times, the test of the 20 week can take a few weeks, at the very least. Okay, it can take a few weeks, and whether we hold it or not, it can take a few weeks. So, don't assume that we have to have some reconciliation on whether we're going to hold it or not immediately. It could be a grueling battle. Especially, I would say this, if we're going to hold it, if we hold it, it's going to be a grueling battle. Okay, if we hold it, is my guess. If we hold it, it's going to be a grueling battle. Similar to the one we had back in August, September, and October. It was a grueling battle at 10K. And now 10K seems like a dream. 10K seems like, some mystical fantasy land that we can't even imagine anymore. But it was only a little over half a year ago that the battle at 10K for the 20-week SMA, it was a grueling battle that took place over about 6 weeks. And we were doing live stream videos every single week on hold the line, or, because we knew that we needed to hold it. And imagine a world where we didn't hold it and we fell below. It wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world. We just would have had to do something like this, where we get back above it at some point. Okay, we fall below it, and then we sort of dig deep, and then at some point we get back above it, and then we just simply try again. We try again. Okay, so that's the implication there of the 20-week SMA. We've held it once this cycle. Some might argue we held it twice, if you want to include here where we came pretty close to the 21-week EMA, which is also part of the bull market support band. So you could argue we've held it twice, definitely once. This one didn't really hit it, but I know some people assumed that was close enough. So definitely one hold of the 20-week, maybe two. Definitely testing our third one. So that's sort of where we are right now. And remember, if we get weekly closes over here, it's not going to be good for altcoins. Okay, generally speaking, weekly closes over here is not good for altcoins. If history is any indication. So remember though, in 2013 we only had one weekly close below it. Where was it? It was after this one, right? It was right here. So here, the 20-week SMA was there, and we actually went about 33% below it the following week. 33% below it. Now, there was a lot more volatility over here, because just to get back to the 20-week from the top of the wick was a 64% drop. So these, a lot of people don't like the idea of diminishing returns or decreased volatility because they say, oh well, that means we're not going to get as big of an ROI. But it also works the reverse way as well. Okay, it works the reverse way as well. It means you're likely not going to see quite as much volatility to the downside. Okay, so I mean a 33% drop from the 20-week. If we were to do something like that, which I mean, again, probably not going to happen next week or anything, but if it did, it would mean a $32,000 Bitcoin. That would be a 33% drop from the 20-week, which is what we saw back in 2013. But remember, we would expect some level of diminished volatility each cycle, and so I doubt that we would immediately go to those levels, even if we are unable to hold the 20-week estimate. So again, we'll continue to battle it. I'm guessing. I mean, this is probably going to be a long battle. Maybe it'll be over before we know it, but my guess is it could drag out for a number of weeks. And right now, remember the battle band ranges between 46.6K, so $2,000 below where we currently are, up to 48.6K, so about $100 above where we currently are. That's the main battleground, I think, because there's enough people that use the 21-week EMA and enough people that use the 20-week estimate. I think that's the main battleground right now that people are looking for. I'm sure some people, took advantage of going down to the 21-week EMA yesterday. Right now, we're slightly below the 20-week estimate. And, there are some similarities here between 2019. So, it looks like there's, sorry, hold on. Yeah, guys, I've said before, the news has a way of doing, or, basically setting the price to where it was going to go anyways. And, if there are exchanges under investigation by the IRS or something, you have to remember that, if that type of announcement had been made when Bitcoin was, going to 42K or, 50K, 60K, people just wouldn't have cared. But it's just when people are bearish, they tend to focus on these events more. I personally think that we're going to, we've been overdue for a pullback for a while. I've been, we've been talking about the 20-week forever. And now that we're finally here, I think the main question just becomes, are we too far gone, right? Are we too far gone to hold it? And if we are too far gone to hold it, then we're going to have to dig deep for a little while we muster up the ability to get back above it, okay, and continue our run. So I think that would be the implication of going below it is, hey, we're probably going to come out the other side eventually, but between now and then, if we do go below it, it can be one hell of a ride. This one over here, from 2019, this one was, before we really came out above it, it was 217 days. So, if we did fall below it and went 217 days before decisively breaking above it, it would put us breaking above it in December, right when everyone thinks the market cycle should peak. Okay? So, Bitcoin will certainly do what most people don't expect, I'll tell you that. But regardless, this is a test of the 20-week estimate, which we knew was going to happen at some point. Honestly, if you had told me it was going to take place 5x what it was the last time, I would have had a hard time believing you, to be completely honest, right? The last one at 10K, this one about close to 50K, would have had a hard time believing that. But here we are, right? Here we are, and we'll see if in fact we hold it. If we look at, say the daily moving averages, let's go over to the daily. So obviously we're below the 20-day, we're below the 50-day, we're below the 100-day. The next obvious one would probably be the 200-day. If you want, some people like the 150-day. I don't really use it, but if you want to put it on there, we can. To see, it's going to be somewhere between the 100 and 200. Hey, it looks like we're actually right at the 150. So basically, it looks like we're sort of right at the 150, which is actually currently at 46,195. So slightly above where we are is the 100 and 50-day, or sorry, slightly below where we are, is the 150-day moving average. Remember, no one cares about these moving averages in a bull market because we hardly ever test them. And then when things start to get bearish, everyone all of a sudden cares again because, okay, we're starting to test them. And this is why we sort of do these updates as to where they are. So the 150 is at 46,194, and then the 200 is at 38,873, which is moving up. I mean, it's moving up, and it's not too far away from the prior local top at 42K. Okay, at 42K. It's, it seems to be approaching that level in the coming weeks, would be that one. So on the weekly time frame though, we'll take a look at those moving averages as well. So on the weekly time frame, you can see we are in fact testing our 20-week because Bitcoin has moved up so quickly over the last few months. These other moving averages are lagging behind significantly. I mean, they're lagging behind significantly. To give you an idea, the 50-week is at 27K. I mean, that's how far behind these are. And we've seen, the 50-week act as support in the past. I mean, it's not, it does sometimes act as support. But remember the 50-week, and because again we've moved up so quickly, a lot of these other moving averages haven't really had time to catch up. Right? They simply have not had time to play catch up. And I mean, the 100 week is all the way down at 18K. I mean, to give you an idea of how crazy that would be, it's all the way down at 18K, and we're nowhere near that level right now. But again, if 2019 is any indication, obviously breaking the 20 week is a possibility, and maybe testing some lower ones. Could feasibly happen, right? It could feasibly happen, and it wouldn't necessarily be the worst thing in the world for the health of the entire cycle. Remember too, that, and I'll keep putting this on every video because everyone keeps thinking that we have to keep pace with it. Remember, we don't have to keep pace with the last one. I would assume we're not going to, as we've been saying for a long time. I would assume we're not going to keep pace, but it looks like we're sort of coming down right at the same time that we did last cycle. So look at that. I mean, if you look at it from, say, the bottoms, right? If you measure it from the bottoms there, the cycle bottom, not the halving. We also look at the halving. I know some of you guys like measuring it from the halving, which we do sometimes. But if you measure it from the bottom here, it's sort of that same region where we had a pretty big pullback in terms of the ROI from the bottom and in terms of the timing. Now, if we were to emulate that one in terms of the timing, then we could have a wick in June down to 35K. Okay, I mean, if we were to continue to emulate last cycle. So that's why I say, hey guys, in the grand scheme of the cycle, we have to recognize that if anything, we're ahead of schedule, and we probably won't make it. We probably won't make it to that ridiculous ROI that we saw last cycle as well. So don't be surprised, as we've been saying for a long time. Like, don't be surprised if we come below this and then continue higher later on. Don't be surprised if that happens. If anything, I would say that that's more likely. That scenario to me is more likely, where we come over here and then go up. That scenario to me is more likely than immediately going to, say, 300K. Okay, that's just what I would say the data suggests is more likely to happen, rather than an immediate move to $300,000. I'd say, hey, it's okay if we cool off for a little bit. Bitcoin is actually falling fairly quickly here, so maybe we should watch that. We're now at 47.3. Okay, we're at 47.3. I'm kind of surprised ADA's holding up relatively strong here, still above $1.80. But Bitcoin is actually, I imagine it's getting close. It's getting somewhat close to the 21-week EMA. So let's pull that up. So here it is. Here's the weekly time frame. So this is our battle of the bull market support band, which again ranges from 46.5 to 48.6. Basically a $2,000 range. We're right in the middle of it right now. So this is the battleground. This is the battleground to hold the short-term bullishness. Okay, the short-term bullishness. This will be the battleground for us to hold. And remember that even if we don't hold it, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to have an 85% drop. It could just mean that we're kicking the can down the road, like 2019, and we have to sort of muster up the ability to get back above it and then continue higher from there. So right now we're at 47.7, and we're right between the two, the 21-week EMA and the 20-week SMA. We're right between them, trying to hold it as support. We'll see if the bulls hold the line. We'll see if the bulls hold the line. ADA doesn't really seem to care. I mean, it's just chilling at $1.84. Ethereum is having a little bit of a pullback here. Let's go to the daily time frame on Ethereum and see what it's doing. So it is pulling back some. You can see Ethereum from this local top here is down about 18%, 18.5%. This move here took us down about 24% or so. This one took us down about 36% back in February. This one took us down about 20%. So it seems so far to be in line with other moves we've seen. But remember, if Bitcoin continues moving down, Ethereum will lose some confidence. Okay, it will have a hard time bouncing back if Bitcoin is unable to muster the ability to hold this as support on the weekly time frame. Like, so if we get weekly closes over here, it's probably going to be hard for Ethereum to muster up the ability to recover quickly in that scenario. So I would say we need to see if we're able to hold it. Remember, we're only about $700, $800 from the 21 week. So we're about $700 to $800. This weekly move for Bitcoin, we're now down 19%. Okay, similar to this one over here, which was down 21%. So we've seen this before in 1 week. We're down 19%. If we take a measured move from our all-time high, we're currently down about 27%, which we've seen worse. We've seen worse. This one here, this one was about a 31% drop. So far, this isn't even the worst correction we've had during this bull market here. So that's something to keep in mind. But we are now about to maybe go into the 46s. So the 47. So the lowest we reached over here was around 47K. We did have a wick yesterday down to 45K and then back up. But we are approaching that same level. So around 40. This would be around 47K. And it's very, very close to the 21-week EMA at 46,483 on that exchange. So we are sort of approaching the same levels here. So 21-week EMA there, and sort of this area over here that we went to back in late April. But anyways, let's see what happens. We'll continue to watch this. Let me switch this over to the 1 hour time frame and see where we are. So we are moving down relative. I imagine the RSI here looks destroyed. Yeah, so on the hourly time frame, you can see it's very oversold. We're all the way down 24, 25. We hit yesterday. We hit 16. On the weekly, I imagine we're not. Yeah, on the weekly, we're actually around this level. So here's something to keep in mind too. I mean, this is the level that in a bull market we have held as support in the past. Okay, this is the weekly RSI. I don't know if you guys can see that, if it's showing up that well. Let me make it a different color so you guys can see it. So last bull market, this weekly RSI, right, and it corresponded basically to the 20-week SMA here. This is where we held support. We held it as support over here earlier on, and we're back at these levels. It corresponds to around like 53, 54 or so, but we're currently back at that level. And this again is on the weekly time frame, not the daily time frame, the weekly time frame. All right, let's see if we go below it, because we are pretty close here. So let me hide that. We'll go back over to the let's go to the minute and see what's going on. This is the minute time frame. So we're about to go below 47 here. So we are quickly approaching the 21-week EMA. These are little cliff dwellers that like to dwell on the edges of these cliffs. All right, There they are. We'll see if we'll see where the next bounce is. We're now at 47,173, which is still slightly above the 21-week EMA at 46,487, according to that exchange. So I'm just checking out the chat. Gosh, there's so many bots these days. I gotta take care of these bots. Hold on. So just give me a minute while I clear out some of the bots. Okay. Huh. Someone says Elon betrayed us. Hey, I told you guys before, you know, institutions are going to sell Bitcoin too. Everyone thinks that institutions don't sell, that they just buy. I told you guys this is not how it works, right? It's not how it works. They're going to sell too. The idea that institutions are only ever going to buy an asset and never sell it is simply not true. And Tesla selling 10% of its Bitcoin, you know, they say it, he said it, they said it was basically to prove liquidity. It's not to prove liquidity, guys. Come on, let's be real. It's not to prove liquidity. I mean, the fact that you bought the Bitcoin proved the liquidity, and you don't even need to carry out the action. You could look at the books and realize that you could have liquidity for it. The reason they did it is because they made a lot of money in a few months, and they wanted to take some profit, just like anyone would. I mean, so again, I don't buy the whole proving liquidity narrative. I think it's more so that they invested in a volatile asset. It went up like 2x, and they decided to sell some of it because they wanted to book the profits. Like, that's the reason to me, not the other thing. Yeah, I know that's not what they're talking about with the betrayal. I mean, they're basically talking about the tweet that he put out last night that said Tesla's no longer accepting Bitcoin. You know, the thing with that is, I think it's kind of a weird. I think it's kind of a weird tweet. Like, it's not like that's news. Okay, I mean, is Tesla? I mean, how did they not do their due diligence? I mean, like, they already knew that it takes energy to mine Bitcoin. So why did they accept it as payment in the first place if they were just going to then backtrack on it? To me, that doesn't really make any sense at all. It's like, did you not do what happened between now and a few months ago? You actually did some research into it? Like, I don't really get it. So because of that flip-flop, it really shows you how even a very technically savvy institution must have not even understood what Bitcoin was to some degree a few months ago, because what changed between now and then? What really changed? Not a whole lot. Maybe their understanding of it changed, but nothing really changed. So I don't know. I mean, to me, the idea of saying, hey, we're going to accept Bitcoin for Teslas and then to roll it back, not long later, just by saying, oh, we need something a little bit more sustainable. Okay, well, I mean, were you unaware that Bitcoin was proof of work and that it took mining power? It took miners to secure it, which also doesn't make sense to me either, because he's constantly shilling Dogecoin, which takes energy consumption too. I mean, like, it just doesn't, none of this makes sense. It makes it seem like maybe, I don't know, there's something else going on. I don't know, but it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense for, to basically say, hey, we're going to accept Bitcoin for our Teslas. Hey, also, calling himself like the Doge father and whatnot, and then putting out a tweet to say, hey, we're looking for something a little bit more sustainable. Nothing has changed with Bitcoin. Bitcoin's been the same thing. It's been the same damn thing for the last 11 or 12 years. Nothing has changed. The only thing that I can think that's changed is maybe their due diligence on it. Other than that, I don't really know what happened. But anyways, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if there's some level of regulation coming, to be completely honest. And the reason I say that is because when you have billionaires that are basically just tweeting stuff out and moving the market at a whim, and the reason they're allowed to do it is because cryptocurrency is quote unquote not a security. I just wonder, I really do wonder if the U.S. government is going to really let that go on forever. Okay, maybe we don't call cryptocurrency a security, but my thinking is that they're probably going to have some type of regulations for crypto, so that you can't just say, oh, well, it's not a security, therefore you can do whatever the hell you want. It's going to be like, okay, well, maybe it's not a security, but it's a cryptocurrency, and there's rules and regulations you have to follow with cryptocurrency, which would probably then keep billionaires from buying an asset and then tweeting about it and then moving the market. Okay, to me, it doesn't seem like that's going to be allowed forever. It just doesn't seem like it's going to be allowed forever. And I also think something else that really needs to, if we're being honest with in crypto, something that the mass audience needs to stop falling for is you basically have these middle schoolers, or the computer programming skills of a middle schooler, going and printing an ERC20 token. Okay, they're going and printing an ERC20 token. They're calling it some BS name, some cute little name, and then saying, hey, buy the token. And all it is some ridiculous garbage altcoin that, again, a middle schooler could program in about 5 minutes. They give it some cute little name, and then everyone on whatever these other platforms start FOMOing into it. And the problem is that it's being, these things are also being promoted by people relatively well known. This needs to stop. This needs to stop. The idea that you just keep printing ERC20 tokens, running some garbage ICO on it, just because it has some cute name, and even if they don't, some of them, and I'll tell you another trick too, right? Here's another trick that a lot of these guys play, and if you guys doubt me on it, the reason I know this is because they approach me too. You'll see these altcoins shilled on other channels. The reason I know that they're getting paid to do it a lot of times is because they also come to me and ask, and I just tell them no. I tell them to, what I tell them? That's what I tell them. Because I'm just like, no, it's it's a scam. You're promoting a scam. So what they do, a lot of times, they go and hire a developer, right? A developer, and then this developer puts together his programming skills that he learned in middle school. He goes over and he creates his ERC20. Okay, his ERC20 token. Okay, and then what do? After you get this guy to make your ERC20 token, you then go and maybe you hire the same guy or someone else to create a WordPress site. Okay, you get him to go make a WordPress site, and then on the WordPress site, you put out your amazing roadmap, right? Your amazing roadmap. Where you sort of say, okay, guys, in Q2 2020, 2021, we're gonna have the core team's gonna do a token burn. Okay, so they're gonna do a token burn where they sell they burn 1% of their tokens. Okay, and then they come up with these all these BS things that no one really cares about. And then in Q3 we're gonna have some social rewards or something, like some social platform where you're gonna get rewards. And then from there they do some other things, and then they come up with this roadmap that means absolutely nothing. And then after they do that, they launched their WordPress site, which actually you can do quicker than it took you to do the 5 minutes of programming to create your ERC20 token. So you create your ERC20 token, you give it some cute name based on some something that'll appeal to the younger generation. You go create your WordPress site, you make it look all fancy, and you have your little template, and you put on, it's it's going to be the next best thing, current interest. The community or the developers are really stand-up developers, even though they're anonymous. But hey, take our word for it that these are good guys. And then what do? So this is step one. This is step one. This is step two. Do you guys know what step three is? What's step three? Step three is either an ICO, okay, either an ICO, or maybe they give the tokens away, okay, maybe they give them away. So they'll either do a ICO or they'll do a giveaway, okay. This is step three of your textbook scam coin. Okay, step three, ICO or giveaway. I should say that not all altcoins are scams. Okay, not all of them are. There are a very small number of them that are actually worth your time. A very small number of them that are actually worth your time. But most of them, I think, will not stand the test of time. Like 99.9% of altcoins will eventually go away. They'll eventually go away, and no one will care about them anymore because the hype will be dead. So you have step one, ERC20 token. You give it a cute name. You come up with some little tweak in the code to make it somewhat unique, but no one really cares about that tweak. Then you come up with a roadmap and you publish it on some WordPress site. What's step three? You do an ICO or a giveaway where you say, all right, if you give us 1 ETH, we'll give you 10,000 tokens, or we'll do a giveaway. And be careful for this, because a lot of people fall for, okay, if it's a giveaway, it can't be a scam. I'll show you how giveaways can still be scams, okay? Giveaways can still be scams. So step 1, 2, 3. What's step 4? You guys know what step 4 is? What's step 4? I'll see if you guys know what step 4 is. I'll go check on Bitcoin while we wait to see what step 4 is. All right, we're back at we're at 48.2 right now. So we're just under the 20 week. Yeah, the promos. This is where you pay someone. Okay, so then this one here is a paid promotion. Okay, and this is the reason why so many people buy it, is because they do a paid promotion. And they get all these people to FOMO in because some guy on Twitter or YouTube shilled it to them and didn't disclose that it was a paid promotion. And a lot of times the promoter is also getting paid in that altcoin, so they have the advantage of, or they have the incentive to promote it. And by the way, the reason why a giveaway can still be a scam is because what happens is, you have step 1, create the ERC20. Step 2, create a roadmap on a WordPress site. Step 3, do your ICO or giveaway. Step 4, do a paid promo. Step 5, a lot of times, is the rug pull. This is the rug pull. And this one here, you might say, well, how can it be a scam if it was a giveaway? Well, a lot of times they don't give away everything. The developers will keep 20% or something. And then after they've paid someone, then they'll go and they'll sell all their tokens to whatever schmuck wanted to buy it from them for, and then it sends the price crashing. And guess what they do after that? Guess what they do? What do? They go back to step 1 and do the whole damn thing over again. And then they're anonymous. They create some other BS name. They just do the same thing over and over and over. And everyone falls for these scams, and they think they're the best thing, and they'll say, oh, well, it went up 100%, so it can't be a scam. The reason it goes up is because of the paid promo, right? That's the reason it goes up, is because they just shill it. They shill it on as many platforms as they can. They buy bots to go shill it on Reddit. This is what happens. So again, we're going to get back to the market, but I have to talk about this because I see so many people falling for these scams. and anyone can do it, right? I think people think that any little altcoin with some cute name has this complicated contract. They're really quite simple, really quite simple. And I've seen kids program create ERC20 tokens. A kid can do this. It does not take some college education or anything like that. It's very simple to do. Hell, you don't even have to program it. Everything's basically open source, so you can just go copy some other contract and then just use that one as yours. And most people won't even know that it's a clone, because most people aren't going to read the code to identify that it's the same thing. So don't fall for the scam. Don't fall for this scam, rinsing and repeating. Try to pick the projects that you think are going to stand the test of time. Standing the test of time is key. Okay, look at this. ADA, it's one of the ones we like. 187, despite the fact that Bitcoin is pulling back here. So again, guys, go for the ones. Ethereum, standing the test of time. Bitcoin, standing the test of time. Chainlink. Where's Link? Link, standing the test of time. DOT, we don't have a ton of history for it, but hopefully standing the test of time. A lot of these other altcoins will not stand the test of a lot of them. There will be several that we don't follow that will stand the test of time, but a lot of those coins that you guys, whatever's newly shown on Reddit that day, will not stand the test of time. But anyways, back to the market. We're now at 48.2. So the battle with our 20-week SMA and the 21-week EMA continue. Ethereum is obviously pulling back on Bitcoin's pullback. It usually does. On a weekly time frame, let's see where Ethereum is. We're actually down on the weekly by about 6.5%. So Ethereum has had a massive dump to the price it was last week. Okay, Ethereum has had a massive dump to the price it was last week. More specifically, Ethereum has dumped so far to the price it was 5 days ago. And Bitcoin's obviously a bit more bearish right now because it's actually at a price it hasn't seen for about 3 weeks or so. All right. No, I really don't think Elon is changing where crypto is headed. I really don't. I think that, as I said before, if anything, we were ahead of schedule. And maybe his tweet was a catalyst for finally pulling back some. But I don't think it changes much of anything. I mean, I think that we could go down for a while. I mean, I would contend that. I would definitely say we could go down for a while. But I don't think it changes where Bitcoin is headed, if that makes sense. Because I mean, again, if you overlay this here, we're still ahead of schedule compared to last cycle. So I don't really think it changes much of anything. If anything, we were overdue for a correction. And if you look on the monthly time frame, right? Here we are. Okay, I mean, we had 6 greens in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green monthly candles in a row. This one was our first red one. Not surprising if we get another red one. Not even surprising if we get another red one and we go down even further. That would not be surprising at all. I think it's fine. And I don't really think it changes ultimately where we're headed. I mean, even if we get a phase like this where we come down for a while and then trend back up, I mean, that's certainly a possibility, right? Where we do something like that. And then later on, we then continue to run. Okay, so don't be surprised about pullbacks, because if anything, we haven't really had any major ones yet. We haven't even had a 40% pullback, and this cycle so far has been more volatile in the short term to the upside. Not over the entire cycle, but in terms of, say, some of our monthly moves, this cycle has been more volatile than last cycle, and last cycle had 40% pullbacks. Okay, last cycle here, you can see this one was a 40% pullback, and we had another 40% pullback as well. I think maybe this one was 40%. Yeah, this was like a 40% pullback too. The largest pullback we've had so far this cycle, if you started this bull run, was 31%. But if you started from the bottom, if you started from market cycle bottom over here, we had a pullback from this point down to here that was 72%. This was a 72% pullback, and this was after the market cycle bottom. This was after the market cycle bottom. one thing to consider is our regression bands. We were unable to decisively move into it, okay? So, they're still moving up. Bitcoin has more or less been moving sideways over the last few months. I mean, yes, it's gone up and put in some new all-time highs, but we were also at these prices back in mid-February, and now we're in mid-May, so that is 3 months, right? March, April, May, 3 months ago, we were at these prices, and we're getting further away. So now the upper regression band now ranges from 63,159 up to 93,174. Another thing to look at is our regression rainbow, and see where we are, because we did in fact get rejected by this one, which we talked about. We did in fact get rejected by it, and similarly in 2019 we got rejected by this one, right? I mean, we got rejected by that one, and one thing we've talked about before is our general accumulation zone for the cycle is here. That's the general accumulation zone for the cycle. This one was the same thing. It was the same thing for this cycle. This one had a little bit more intra-cycle volatility, going down to this one down here and going up to this one. Okay, so a little bit more intra-cycle volatility on this one. And then now we blew past that one and came back up to this one, which is the same one. It's the same one we went to over here. Again, guys, at the end of the day, these are just lines on a chart. I mean, I'm not trying to say these are the best thing, the best thing ever. It's just the implication is looking at the fact that each cycle we're not able to actually make it to the prior band of the top. I mean, we dropped down some, right? We dropped down some, and so that was why I kept saying, hey, I don't think we're going to make it to this one up here. I feel like there's a decent chance we don't. Because we typically drop down a couple, and that was this resistance, and that's why I said, hey, it doesn't mean we can't come back up to it. This one's going to continue to move away from us, but I wouldn't assume that we're going to go to 100K immediately, because that would imply, we're going to all the way up here, which we really haven't been able to do in the past. Okay, so just something to keep in mind. But anyways, here we are. I mean, we'll see. We'll continue to fight. We'll see. And by the way, if you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. I will post the link to the chat room. If you guys want to join the chat room, I'll put it in the chat. Make sure you guys check that out. I will not message you first. Also, we do have the sale on the premium list. If you guys want to check that out, I will post that in the description as well. Go in and lock in the lower rate on that. There you go. We also do have merchandise. If you guys want to buy like an Into the Cryptoverse t-shirt, you can do that as well. Check out the description for that. All right, we're at 48.4. Ether's at 3,700. Bitcoin still fighting that bull market support band. And it probably will continue to fight it for a while. Is my guess. This is my guess. It'll be a grueling battle doesn't mean we can't go back up to like 55K or something and then come back down to it. It doesn't mean we can't go below it for a while and then come back up. But I do think it will be a grueling battle, to say the least. So there's like an interesting website. Let's see. Yeah, if you go to this website, this is an interesting website. I actually like this website. So why don't you guys go check it out? It's companiesmarketcap.com. Companiesmarketcap.com, assets by market cap. You can actually see that Bitcoin is coming in at number 8. Bitcoin's coming in at number 8, which is slightly below silver. My thinking for this cycle is that this is the cycle where Bitcoin will decisively flip silver, but not the cycle where it will decisively flip gold. I don't think Bitcoin will flip gold this market cycle by any means. I don't even think it's going to get close to flipping gold to market cap this cycle, which is all the way at 11.56 trillion. So my thinking is that Bitcoin is probably at least 1, maybe 2 market cycles away from flipping gold. Something to keep in mind. And by the way, the price of gold's not also, it also changes. So gold could go in its own bull market for all we know and go to a higher market cap than it currently is. But You know, Bitcoin is above Facebook, Tencent, Berkshire Hathaway. Here's Tesla. It's actually above Tesla. Ethereum's over here. Ethereum actually flipped Visa the other day. I don't know if it flipped Palladium. I checked though. I don't remember if it actually flipped Palladium or not. But it did flip Visa. Currently, it's pulled back some, but now it is slightly above Walmart. I mean, this gives you an idea of how big Bitcoin and Ethereum are, to see them on companiesmarketcap.com and see where they stand. Hopefully I wouldn't mind seeing Ethereum move up the ranks some. Actually, I'm kind of curious. Yeah, Tesla's taking a beating today. Here's Tesla. So you can see on the day it's down about 4% or so. Guys, to be completely honest, like, I like Tesla. I own Tesla stock. Like, I do own some Tesla stock, but I also I've held it. I've had some Tesla for a long time, for years and years and years. I do own some Tesla. I will say though, you know, when you have the CEO pumping Dogecoin, and then telling people that they're going to stop accepting Bitcoin because of energy type stuff, when it was the same problem they had a few months ago. It just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. Like, it just seems like they're all over the place with what they're doing. Like, they're constantly changing it. This seems kind of strange to me. It's like, wouldn't you have, if you're going to start accepting something as a payment, for your car, wouldn't you do your due diligence first and figure out, hey, are we going to actually accept this, or are we going to accept it for a couple months and just cash in on the fact that Bitcoin is hot right now? So to me, that's one of the reasons why I would not be surprised if there's some type of regulation coming, because to me it doesn't make sense that you can have these, you know, billionaire CEOs just pump random altcoins just for the hell of it. Say you're going to accept Bitcoin for a car, and then right when Bitcoin, and then, by the way, I mean, you know, they buy Bitcoin, then they think about this. I mean, think about how bad this looks, right? They buy Bitcoin, they buy it, then a few months later they sell it, and then after they sell it, they announce, hey, we're no longer accepting it as payment. I mean, think about how that would look. I mean, I'm not saying they can't sell it. I think Tesla has all the right in the world to buy it and sell it as many times as they want. I really do. I think that they should be allowed to sell it, and I don't think people should give them a hard time about selling it, because that's what we do. We buy and sell crypto. Institutions are going to do the same thing. I just think from a narrative standpoint, when you're trying to defend your actions or something to investors, you're saying, okay, you bought Bitcoin and then you sold it, and then after you sold it, you said, all right, we're no longer accepting it as payment. To me, that just seems kind of strange. It seems pretty strange. Yeah, I mean, it's not a good look. I mean, it's certainly not a good look for sure. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised they sold. I think they should be able to sell. I think you guys, some people are misunderstanding. Selling Bitcoin is not a bad thing. Like, I think if they want to sell, that's perfectly fine. I think what's strange is accepting it as payment, and then right after you sell, then saying we're no longer accepting it as payment. That's what's strange to me. Imagine how it would look if imagine how it would look if Bitcoin falls and then Tesla announces they're buying Bitcoin again. Imagine how that would look. That's why I think there's going to be some type of regulation coming at some point. Just because I don't think that these guys are going to be able to operate like this indefinitely, where they can just put out tweets and move the market and whatnot, and even come out with news that they know is going to move the market. Yeah, I know Tesla sold 10%. I didn't say they sold 100%. Yeah, they sold 10% to prove liquidity. I don't think they did it to prove liquidity. I think they did it because they wanted to take profits. Because again, you can look at the order book and see that you can prove liquidity just like that. I mean, it wouldn't be that difficult to prove that you can sell the Bitcoin. So I don't really buy that one. But I would say that in terms of selling Bitcoin, I don't blame them for that. I don't blame Tesla for selling 10% of their Bitcoin by any means. I think this is just a taste of the fact that, you know, as more and more institutions come on board, they certainly will sell their Bitcoin at some point. You know, everyone likes to think that institutions just buy, they never sell. That's not true. Institutions will also sell their Bitcoin as well. By the way, make sure you guys subscribe. Definitely subscribe to the channel. Let's go for 400,000 subscribers. I don't even know where we are, but we can't be many more tens of thousands away. We're currently at 384. So hit the subscribe button. Let's go for 400,000 subscribers. Make sure you guys give the video a thumbs up. Click the bell icon to turn on your notifications. Bitcoin is currently sitting at the 20-week, 48,683. The 20-week is right around that level. 48,656 is the 20-week. So we're currently sitting at the 20-week SMA. So we'll continue the battle to see if we hold it. Yeah, I'm kind of curious, like, how is... Hey, look. ADA has flipped Tether and it's flipped Doge. This makes me happy. This makes me happy to see. I mean, hey guys, you know, if I held Doge, maybe I'd feel differently, to be completely honest. But I mean, this is just a meme coin, and I get everyone's cashing in on the meme. But to me, I'd rather see the actual useful projects do something, not the ones that are just being promoted by a few, a few big groups and whatnot. I'd rather see the other projects move up. I mean, Binance Coin is one I don't own, but I think it's not a bad project. Like, I think it's a good project. So to see these, above this one, hopefully we'll see Polkadot flip Doge as well. I wouldn't even mind seeing XRP flip Doge. Yeah, I mean, it looks nice to see ADA's back in the top 4. And I mean, ADA's looking pretty good. ADA's looking pretty good, to be completely honest. Yeah, I saw that one pumping too. I'll quickly pull it up. We used to talk about this one on the channel back in the day. Nano, this was one that was pumping. It's funny because basically it's feeless and it's instant. I think its main competition is going to be stable coins, not Bitcoin or whatever. But right after Elon said that they want something more sustainable, I was noticing that this one was just pumping like crazy. This one, I think this one went to around $38 back in 2018. But this was one that I saw. I was like, hey, I saw them say the word, like, they're looking for something more efficient. I'm not saying Nano is going to be that. I just think it was interesting because I was like, all right, well, that's the narrative that this coin likes to build off of is being more efficient and whatnot. And sure enough, up 52% on the day. All right, let's see. So Bitcoin's back above the 20-week. Ethereum is at 37.20. ADA's approaching 190 again. Link's taking a bit of a hit. It's at 42. No, I don't think Elon was talking about Doge, because I mean, Doge also takes energy. I mean, maybe it doesn't take as much, but it takes a lot. I mean, it's not like it's a negligible amount compared to some coins. Yeah, I mean, Doge is still proof of work. That's what I don't get. Like, he's saying they don't accept Bitcoin because it takes up too much energy, while he's also personally promoting a proof of work coin all the time. To me, you know what's crazy to me is how people will buy coins just because of the name of the coin. Like it kind of shows you how immature the asset class is as a whole. That just simply naming a coin, which at its core is very similar to the other thousands of coins out there that are ERC20 tokens that basically very slightly tweak a contract. It's just the name, and then it's that marketing. It's that name of that coin, the little symbol, the logo. That's what drives the mania. Not what actually is it. What is it? Because most people don't even know what it is. It's just, oh, it has a cute name, so therefore let's buy it. It's funny that the asset class is still that immature. Hopefully one cycle will move away from and we'll see a little bit more mature market. But for now that's what it is. How confident am I? So someone asked, how confident am I that we're not at a market cycle top? I mean, it depends on what you mean by cycle. Like a lot of people think that we're going to have a blow off top in 2021 and a bear market in 2022. And I'll agree there's a possibility that happens. But I would say there's also a possibility that the bull market extends into 2022 and maybe beyond into 2023. So even if we come back down, and let's say we come back down and then ultimately go back up, I would call that to still be one cycle. I would still this is one cycle and not more than one cycle. I mean, it would also, a lot of people that promote that would say that okay, the halving is what kicks it off. So that'll still be before the last halving anyways, which is how some people measure it, and maybe it'll look something like that. I don't really know, but I'm just saying that I don't think we're at a market cycle top, but we could be at a local top. And I think some people don't understand what that means. Remember 2013, we had a local top before coming back down for a while and then trending up later on. Something similar could happen here. If we hold the 20 week, then, you know, if let's say we hold the 20 week for 2 or 3 months and then we go back up, then yeah, this is great and this is what people want to see. If we don't hold it and we come below it, and we sort of spend some time down here and then come back up later, I still think the market cycle is still in full gear, full effect, and we're still in the same cycle. That's what I would think anyways. All right, definitely, if you guys definitely subscribe to the channel. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you like the content. Let's go for 400,000 subscribers. We're currently at 484. Or no, we're at 384. We're at 384. So make sure you guys subscribe, give the video a thumbs up. We'll see. We'll continue to see if Bitcoin can hold the 20-week SMA as support. Here we are. We're just chilling right above it with some wicks down to the 21-week EMA. And we'll take it from there. Right? We'll take it from there. Remember to check out the sale on the premium list, the bull market sale, if you want to know how I'm navigating these markets. I'll post that in the chat. You can also find it in the description below as well. Thank you, Hester23BearsCH for subbing. It looks like he has a YouTube channel. I will check him out since he is subbing here. Looks like he has a he talks about magic, so he just subscribed. It's cool to see people, with other, with large channels and whatnot getting involved in the crypto scene or whatever. All right. Yeah, click the notification bell if you want to get notified of future videos, even though I don't even think it always works because people always tell me they don't get notified. ADA is back above $1.90. Remember to check out our Telegram group. I'm going to post 3 Telegram groups in case you guys want to join. The first one for large caps. The second one for micro caps called Into the Crypto Cause. And we have almost 10,000 people in there. So if you guys are wanting to go show your micro caps, go do it in there. And then, oh wait, I actually put the wrong, I put the wrong address. I accidentally put another, okay, into the cryptocosm. And then the other one, we actually have, we have a few more. We have into the NFT verse. If you guys want to go talk about NFTs, you can do that. We have over 1,000 people in there. If you're an artist, you can go talk about your own NFTs. I don't really care. Go check out into the NFT verse. And then finally, we have into the equity verse. If you guys are wanting to go talk about stocks, we have over 1,200 people in there. So a lot of different chat groups for different, you know, for different, you know, for different topics and whatnot. Yeah, if you guys want to go talk about Tesla, you can go do it into the equity verse. Seems like people have the pitchforks out. I don't think people should have the pitchforks out. I mean, I think Bitcoin or Tesla should be allowed to sell Bitcoin. I just think it's strange that they're constantly flip-flopping on whether they accept it as payment or not. All right. Well, we've been going over an hour. Do you guys want to call it here? I mean, we've been watching Bitcoin sort of battle this area for a while. I mean, we might have weeks of this. If we go below it, then remember this though. I'll tell you this now. Going below it represents an opportunity. Okay, it represents an opportunity, and the people, if we do go below it, people are going to be super scared. But that represents an opportunity. In the grand scheme of Bitcoin's, you know, overarching history or life cycle or whatever, market cycle. I don't know if we're going to go below it or not, but if we do, it represents a big opportunity, I think. Okay. But anyways, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you like the content. Give the video a thumbs up. Check out the Telegram channel. You can find a link to that. Check out the bull market sell and the premium list. You can find a link to that. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.